So, well, as you may already know, my name's Matt. You probably know me as JX53MB if you're from the Unreal Engine forum. And this is the first live tutorial about a simple game idea. I wanted to create a tutorial series about. So I'm basically going to show you how I'm going to create that really simple mini game from start to finish, and so that you can see every step of the process. And so these live streams are going to be recorded and saved onto my YouTube channel so that people that missed the live can still see the tutorial. And so the very first step would be to create a new blank blueprint project. How you do? Okay, we're just gonna name it ball game tutorial. You can add starter content if you want to and create the project. Okay, now that we have this thing open, we're gonna rearrange a little bit the folders. So right now the only thing we have is this. So we're gonna create a new folder that we're gonna call maps, in which we're gonna put all of the levels, and we're gonna have a new folder also, not within the map folder, which will be called environment. This is pretty much where we're gonna put all the static meshes and all the blueprints that'll be used for the environment. This could include platform meshes. Well, basically any meshes that we're gonna use to create the parkour. And so just delete all of that. Global post-process volume, sky sphere, fog, okay, skylight, player start, okay. Good. Brush setting. Light source. Okay. We don't actually want to use this. We're going to use a directional light that we're also going to position at 0, 0, 0. The sky sphere should be positioned at 0, 0, 0. The atmospheric fog also. Okay, so this is gonna be our basic level. Skylight, okay. So we'll set up all of these to be dynamics. And we're gonna remove the static shadows. and then go into settings, world setting, light mass, force no pre-computed visibility, okay, and then build everything. And so the lightning should now be entirely dynamic. Okay, just create a basic floor mesh for now. Position the player start on top of it. Okay, cool. And so this level right here, file, save current as, we're gonna go into map folder and name this default map. Right there. So this is the map we're gonna use to do all the testing. And then when we get all the functionalities that we want, we can create new maps, which are going to be different levels for the player to go through. And so that is done. I actually make this much bigger. I said bigger. Like this. Okay, so now that this is out of way, we're gonna create a new blueprint, which is gonna be a game mode. We're gonna name it ball game mode. Okay. Then we're also gonna need a player controller, which is gonna be ball controller. And we're gonna need a pawn class, which is gonna be our ball pawn, which is gonna be our player, basically. And just for the sake of testing, instead of placing a player's pawn, I'm actually gonna place the player pawn and have it possessed automatically. So, open up the game mode. Player class will be ball controller. The default pawn class will be our ball pawn. And that's that. And then setting, world setting, game mode override will be ball game mode. Good, so we basically just told this level to use this game mode, which tells us that we're gonna use this pawn as a player pawn controlled by this controller. And that's all I just did. So now we need to go into the setting, project setting, maps and node. And we need to set this default map as the default map of the editor and the game for now, because we don't have any other. And default mode will be ball game mode. Alright. So before I start the ball pawn blueprint, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up to Radius Max and create a ball, or a sphere if you prefer. I'll make it 2 meter wide, and if I open up the material, I already have a material that is a simple checker. Right there. And so I'm gonna add a bone to make it a skeletal mesh. Because we're gonna use a physics asset for the collisions to obtain perfectly round collisions to avoid any problem. And so that looks like it's correct. Rename the bone to root bone. Okay, and then skin the mesh onto it using the skin modifier, of course. So add bones, select the root bone. Okay. Now if I play around with that bone, the ball is following, so the skin was successful. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna create a new folder onto the desktop called ball game, and onto that new folder called meshes. Open up, save it as ball pawn, and yeah, okay, now we only need to export it. So we're gonna export it on the desktop. So let's get a little mesh ball pawn. Good. Now I'm actually going to create a new folder called player, and I'll put the pawn in a new folder for mesh. So import as a skeletal. We should leave all this to default, and we'll check off these two. Or actually, yeah, we're gonna leave them on just because I'm curious. Okay, that basically just created a blank material. That's okay. So open up the physics asset, make sure that the collision matches the mesh, which it looks like it's doing. Okay, so into the ball pawn, we're gonna add a component, a skeletal mesh. Make this the root, select our ball mesh. I should have applied smoothing groups onto that ball, I guess. Did I not do that? Anyway, you can always do that later on. So, as of for the collisions, we want it to be a physic. So just set that to custom, block everything, physic body. Now collision enabled query and physic. We'll set it to use CCD. And simulation generate hit events. Now simulate physic. Okay. Now add a spring arm onto this. And then a camera. Good. Now spring arm is rather short. And the ball is rather big, actually. but that's fine. So, okay. Now we do not want to inherit any of these. We want to use pawn control rotation. Now we're ready to give it a try. Okay, so it is simulating physics. Now I think the next, yeah, we're gonna have to set up inputs to be able to make it move and rotate the camera around. So let's go in setting, project setting, then into input. Now axis mapping, we're gonna have look, yeah, look right, and it's gonna have the mouse x-axis, I think. Then one more will be move forward. It'll be on the keyboard W and S. Of course, S is for going backward, so we're gonna set it to -1. Then move right. So keyboard A will be -1, because pressing A will make it roll to the left. Then keyboard D will make it go right, so scale of 1. So we can move the camera left and right. We can move the ball forward and sideways. And the only thing we need is jump, which is going to be linked onto the spacebar, just like so. Awesome. So open up the ball palm. Remove everything, and then look right. Add controller yaw input. See, the target of that node is a pawn, so just leave it to self. And because our spring arm used the controller rotation, this allows us to look around the ball. Now we should add a little bit of pitch onto that spring arm, so I'm too big in play. We're gonna set control rotation. Target is controller, so we're just gonna split that. And so we want to add some pitch value, just like that. Oops, negative pitch value. So let's say -25. Okay, so that looks to be a pretty decent angle, I would say. So now the only thing left is to make the ball actually roll and jump, of course. So we'll start up with the jump. And we'll make impulse. Actually, I don't remember by heart how it's called. So physic, add force, add location. Hey, I like that. Origin would be get world location. Radius would be, let's say, 300. And we're gonna have to adjust the strength. We'll start with a low value, and then yeah, 100 isn't doing anything. Oh. Okay, no. I understand why. Okay. How do I actually do it usually? How about that? Okay, good. We did it. So 450 is pretty low. So let's set it to 2000 and see if this is better. Yeah, I think that's a little too much. Plus it works even if I'm not on the ground. Just set it for 1000 for now. And before we do that, we're gonna have to make sure that we actually are sitting onto the ground. So line trace by channel. You wanna ignore self and then start. So make this world location for start. And for the end location, it'll be world location plus plus minus 200, and let's say minus 201. So we're basically gonna have a ray trace going straight down, and if it doesn't hit anything, it means we're not unable to jump. So if it's true, you jump. If it's false, you don't jump. We're gonna have to give this a try right now. Say 210. Good. So you see, I'm on the ground, I'm jumping, then I'm in the air, I'm not jumping up. So we have a little jumping mechanism right there, which can be adjusted. You could, for example, split that struct pin and promote this to a variable, which would be named something like jump velocity, so that it's easier to adjust the jump height further on. Then we actually need to make the ball roll so that we can move around. To do that, we'll need our two move input. Move forward. Move right. And so what we want to do is use the spring arm. Now get the control rotation. Get the right vector. And then get our ball mesh again and add impulse. Add angular impulse. And that impulse is actually going to be our right vector multiplied by our axis value, and make that as a velocity change. Now we're probably going to have to multiply that axis value with another float to make it bigger. Whoa, actually no, we won't. It's already big enough. And our spring arm shouldn't follow like that. Now it really shouldn't follow like that at all. Oh, wait. first of all. This is rolling way too fast. Or was rolling way too fast. So now we have to multiply it with another float value. Let's see by how much we should multiply it. Okay. So we can now roll the ball forward and backward without the camera having issues. And if we roll the camera and move the ball forward, the forward vector actually is depending on the camera rotation. So whenever you press W to make the ball roll forward, it'll always roll into the direction the camera is looking at. Good. Now we need to do the same thing for the move right. Except we'll get the forward vector. Now let's see if that works. It does work, except for one thing, it is reversed. Good. And of course, set that into another float variable, which will be movement velocity. There probably is something like a reverse vector, Felix. Yeah, there probably is. It probably would be called invert, though. Invert, rotator, invert, transform. So, nope. No invert vector. But it did work. It really did work, so. You can see it's still really, really weak. Like it takes a lot of time to change direction because of that. But it's working. It's doing its job. So you can move the ball around like that. And I'll make that spring arm longer again. You could actually change the field of view of that camera so that the ball doesn't look so huge, or just make the ball smaller. And okay, so that needs to be bigger. That is much better. Yeah, much better. Okay. After we've done this, what we're gonna do is first of all make that again bigger. Get some room for testing. I had something in mind, I just lost it. I think I'm getting tired. I'm gonna play it again, it'll come back. Okay, that's it, okay. Now it does spin a lot. So we're gonna need to create a physical material to add some friction to that ball. And we're also going to be able to use that material to adjust the bounciness of the ball. Okay, physical material override right there. Oh, and we don't have any physics asset set up on our ball. Alright. See, now it bounces a little bit. We can raise that friction a lot if we want to. I think I'm gonna change the way that I make the ball move. Instead of adding angular impulse, I'm gonna be setting the velocity of the mesh. So for the forward, that'll be way too big. Great, okay. Oh. Okay, add to current, because we're now replacing its velocity entirely. Okay, cool. And I think we should set up a maximum velocity as well. So So let's just make sure that this works. Whoa. Wait, did I actually press space or something? No, I didn't. Yeah, we're gonna set up max linear velocity onto the mesh. We'll try to find a value that is good, because this is way too fast. And it keeps flying for some reason. Oh. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, I know why. pitch. Could it be because of that? Okay, it does it again. I think I was better off with the angular velocity. Good, okay. So all right. And we're rolling again. And I don't quite like the jump. It looks like we're on the moon, actually. So we're gonna go into, actually, gravity and change that to minus 2000. Much better. Okay, so we have our basic ball movement. Which means we can move the ball around, jump. Now it jumps very low because I've changed the gravity. Okay, cool. And using the physical material, we can change how much bounciness we want to apply to that ball. So if I jump, and if we put a value of 0 onto the restitution, it shouldn't bounce at all. See? Oh, it doesn't bounce. We're gonna put it back to 0.4. Alright. So, yeah, little ball movement done. Next thing we should do would be, before I forget to do it, open up the ball controller, go into even graph, and escape, keyboard event escape, to quit the game. Specific player. Yeah, player 0, because it's a single player game for now. And so if we play this in standalone game, pressing escape will actually quit the game. Good. Now, of course, later on we'll replace the quit game by a widget, you know, a pause menu. Actually pause the game, display the menu, and things like that. But for now, good. We'll go into the advanced setting and select 20-inch monitor, I believe it was. Perhaps it was 19. Okay, well, that's big enough. I think we should add some damping, angular damping to that ball, so that when you don't actually tell it to move, it tends to slow down a little bit. So linear damping, no, angular damping, let's put it to 10, just to try it all. Doesn't seem to slow down at all. Okay, 10 isn't enough. Let's try 100. Okay, that value isn't actually doing anything. Oh yeah, and just to prevent problems, now if I change it here, does it actually change something? Yay! Oh, 500 is so big of a value, I can't even move at all anymore. So let's just put it back. 5. awesome. So as soon as I let go of any of the movements, it just goes to a stop, slowly but surely, which is cool. Great, okay. So I think this is pretty much everything for the project setup and ball movement. And I didn't actually check how long this video has been streaming. Oh, geez, it's been an hour. Okay, so I'll stop it there. I'll move this first video to the new playlist I created, and yeah, that was part 1 on how to set up a little ball game. And so if you're not already subscribed, I think you should subscribe to be noticed of all of my live streamings. And if you already are, well, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video.